Not seeing my videos in your subscription feed? Make sure you've clicked the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of all my newest uploads.
Hey, what's up people? Pizzal here, and continuing my series File 13, in which I discuss cult, sleaze, exploitation, movies so bad they're good. Today I want to talk to you guys about 1994's Tammy and the T-Rex. And now when I first heard what Tammy and the T-Rex was about, I said to myself, there's no way. This movie can't exist. Nobody in their right mind made a movie with this plot. And then I discovered that someone did actually make a movie with this plot called Tammy and the T-Rex. I found myself watching the movie, and I found myself asking myself, and even answering myself. Now, it's okay to talk to yourself, but when you start answering yourself, you've got problems. And this movie, I think, has pushed me over the edge. I think I lost it a little bit watching this movie, because I was asking myself, what were these people on making this movie? And I was answering myself, drugs. Serious drugs. The people who made Tammy and the T-Rex had to be on some incredible mind-altering drugs. That's the only explanation for this movie even existing. And the plot is this. The movie stars Denise Richards and the late Paul Walker as these two lovebirds. They're having this little, I wouldn't even call it affair, behind the back of Denise Richards' character's ex-boyfriend, who just happens to be the local ruffian. Now, Denise Richards is the most sort of clean-cut cheerleader character I've ever seen in a movie. Why she was dating this scummy, nasty, ruffian tough guy with like a bowl haircut is beyond me. But anyway, there's a fight scene near the beginning of the movie where the ruffian finds Paul Walker and Denise Richards together outside the school, and they have this fight that had to be choreographed by Randy Macho Man Savage, because they're literally doing elbow drops on each other. Now, I've seen a number of schoolyard fist fights. I've never seen an elbow drop, let alone multiple elbow drops. I mean, they're just elbow dropping each other like... Anyway, at one point, they have each other by the crotch. They've grabbed each other's crotches. They're both screaming, ah, 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 ah. Out of nowhere, in walks B-movie legend George Buck Flower as a deputy sheriff, yelling, unhand each other, unhand your crotches. Literally, the dialogue is like, let go of each other's groins, and break it up. I'm not joking. My mind was blown. I was already rolling over the fight sequence and the elbows and the crotch grabbing and them screaming. And enter George Buck Flower, demanding that they unhand each other's crotches and break it up. Anyway, it all culminates with the ruffian and his gang, and actually one of his gang members is Sean Whalen from The People Under the Stairs. He has a small part in this movie. There's some interesting, like, small roles and cameos in this movie. John Franklin from Children of the Corn is in this movie. Even the guy who played Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite is in this movie. There were several really familiar faces in this movie. Weird. So the ruffian and his gang, they grab Paul Walker, they throw him in the back of their car, they drive him to this wildlife park. Literally, the sign says wildlife park out front. No gate, no fencing, no walls of any kind. And we discover that this park contains lions, jaguars. I'm pretty sure I saw a black panther. And again, no gate, no fencing, no walls. Just people can come and go. in the middle of the night. Apparently the lions and panthers and jaguars can also come and go as they please. I guess it's the honor system there. I have no idea. Anyway, they leave Paul Walker there. They drive away. Paul Walker ends up being mauled by a lion. He ends up in the ICU. He's on... He's in the ICU. He's on life support. He's been mauled by a lion. He doesn't have a single scratch on him. Not a single scratch. In walks Terry Kaiser, Bernie, from Weekend at Bernie's and from from Friday the 13th, Part 7. He plays Dr. Wackenstein in the movie. Dr. Wackenstein. They go into the ICU. Dr. Wackenstein's assistant, Helga, unplugs Paul Walker. This sequence had me rolling again. Unplugs Paul Walker's life support. He flatlines. She grabs him, starts doing mouth-to-mouth. Terry Kaiser jumps astraddle of him, is pounding on his chest, screaming, "Live! Live! Live!" This goes on for about 3 seconds, and Terry Kaiser goes, "Oh, he's gone. I did all I could." Denise Richards passes out. There's an extremely, I wouldn't say offensive, but close to be offensive, sort of stereotypical gay guy in the movie. He passes out as well. Terry Kaiser takes the body of Paul Walker to his laboratory and surgically transplants Paul Walker's brain into a mechanical T-Rex, like a big mechanical T-Rex. You'd see it in an amusement park. And the T-Rex comes to life. It's the Paul Walker T-Rex. The T-Rex breaks loose. It seeks vengeance against the ruffian and the ruffian's gang. He rekindles his relationship with Denise Richards. Nobody's ever accused Denise Richards of being a great actress, but I will give her this. There's a sequence in the movie where she has realized that Paul Walker's brain is inside this mechanical T-Rex. And she's like kind of hugging, rubbing, caressing the head of this big rubber T-Rex, and she's crying. It's kind of like those musicians on the Titanic who they continued playing even as the ship was sinking. Like, "Pleasure to play with you, sir. Pleasure to play with you, sir." Dedication, commitment. She was at least dedicated and committed to this performance. And I will give her, my hat is off to her for her performance in this movie opposite a big rubber mechanical T-Rex. And they then go on a journey to try and find him another body. They actually go to his gravesite. Keep in mind, he's a big mechanical T-Rex. The thing's wandering around in broad daylight. The thing is that it's the Paul Walker T-Rex is at Paul Walker's character's funeral. Nobody sees it. He's enormous. Nobody sees it. So they get into the grave, they open the coffin, and the body is in such an advanced state of decomposition, it's like he's been dead for years. And Denise Richards is screaming, the stereotypical gay guy is screaming, even the Paul Walker T-Rex is screaming. So then they go to a morgue. And they find the freshest dead bodies they can find, and they literally pull the bodies over to a window so that the Paul Walker T-Rex can either give them thumbs up or thumbs down as to what body he wants his brain in. Now, I'll give them this. They did not play this movie in any way, shape, form, or fashion straight. They did not take it seriously at all. There's a really funny sequence where the Paul Walker T-Rex has just escaped. He literally goes and makes a phone call from a payphone. A T-Rex makes a phone call from a payphone. And there's like this little, when you see the arms, T-Rexes had little tiny arms. And there's little tiny arms on the T-Rex thing. But there's somebody, and I'd love to know how much this person got paid. I wish I'd checked the credits to see if this person got a credit. But somebody had to wear like a T-Rex hand arm sleeve thing to do all the movement with the hand. And like the arm, at some points the arm is like 20 feet long, because like it's reaching out and it's dialing numbers, it's hitting the, it's hanging up the phone. It even reaches into the coin slot, or like when the arm is like caressing Denise Richards. It's just really odd and strange. Terry Kaiser is so off the wall in this movie. Terry Kaiser got it. Terry Kaiser knew, like, hey, this is a movie. They're paying me for this. This is a movie that nobody's ever going to see except for maybe like some drunken frat guys or some lonely, some poor lonely person watching Cinemax at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're going to pay me to be in this absolutely ridiculous movie and play this absolutely ridiculous character named Dr. Wackenstein. I'm just going to go completely ham. I'm going to go off the wall with this thing. Terry Kaiser is phenomenal in this movie as Dr. Wackenstein. I absolutely loved his performance. He cracked me up just about every time he was on the screen. His dialogue, his performance, everything about it. Just, Oscar-worthy. Oscar-caliber performance from Terry Kaiser. I can't say enough good things about that performance. Paul Walker's not in the movie very much. The late Paul Walker, may he rest in peace. And Denise Richards, like I said, I will give her all the credit in the world having to act opposite this big, rubbery, generic-looking T-Rex and play it. It's odd because like the first half of the movie, she plays it straight. And then like the last half of the movie, the last act of the movie, I think the director was like, Denise, you realize this is not serious, right? You realize this is a complete goof. Do you realize how ridiculous this movie is? Just have fun with it. Come on. And then, like, the last act of the movie, she's just completely off the wall and goofy and silly at the same time. At the end of it, she performs this... At the end of it, Paul Walker's brain is in, like, a jar, but they've got it hooked up to this camera so he can see her, and she's doing, like, this little striptease for him. And he's going, like, yeah, baby, show me more, show me more, show me more. And, like, sparks are going off, and, like, it's really absolutely bizarre. The way this movie was severely edited, like every piece of there's not that this is there's really no profanity in the movie, there's no nudity in the movie, there's no real sexuality in the movie. There's some violence in the movie, but it's so severely edited, like every single drop of blood completely cut out of this movie and like edited with a meat cleaver, horribly edited. So I mean, I don't know if they were trying to make this like a kids, a family-friendly movie. I don't know if they were shooting for a certain rating with this. I have no idea why, but it's just they went out of their way to cut every bit of violence out of the movie or to truncate it and only imply it, and anything that was bloody, they cut it completely out. I'm not sure what that was about, to be perfectly honest with you. This is an absolute, I don't know. I have no idea. I was thoroughly entertained watching this movie. I'll give it that. I was thoroughly entertained because this is a movie that, and I know I've said this before, this is a movie that truly has to be seen to be believed. Unfortunately, this is a lost movie. It's not available on DVD. It didn't even get a DVD release, to the best of my knowledge, at least in the States. I looked it up on Amazon. They've got VHS copies of it on there for like $100. And I'm kind of surprised I hadn't heard more about this movie because, I mean, it's got pretty good cast in it. Paul Walker went on to have a really good career. Denise Richards has had a really long career. But I can totally understand why they would want it buried. But yeah, it's kind of a lost movie. I'd never heard anybody talking about it, and just all of a sudden I heard about it, I watched it, and I'm glad that I did, because it exists. I think that's the fact that this movie even exists is something. I do recommend it. If you can find a copy of Tammy and the T-Rex out there somewhere, by all means, watch it. I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. I think like I said, I think something cracked up here while watching it, but yeah. Tammy and the T-Rex. If you've seen Tammy and the T-Rex, by all means, let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you think of Tammy and the T-Rex in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace.
Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.